What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here. All right, we about to talk about something that's been speculated about for years. A lot of people that are close to the Roc-A-Fella team have talked about this in passing. People like Choke No Joke. There's so many people that are affiliated that have talked about Aaliyah and her connection to both Jay-Z and Dame Dash. As we already know, she was in a relationship committed to Dame Dash when she passed away in 2002. Unfortunately, they had only been together for about a year, but Dame Dash recently did an interview where he spoke about the times, reminiscing on those times when he met Aaliyah, how they were around each other. And he also talked about the fierce competition between him and Jay-Z to win over her heart. I'm gonna go ahead and just play the clip of Dame, let him speak his own piece. It ain't no point in me trying to speak for him. Let's get into it. And of course, I'm gonna give y'all my feedback and just run back the time period because a lot of people have some misinformation about all of this. Anyway, let's get into it.
I didn't look at her like that because she was like a tomboy. She was little to me. But then one time, she was, I guess we had the same bookkeeper, and I walked past. And the thing about Aaliyah was like every time I saw her, she looked different. So she had different looks every time, and I was like, who the fuck is that? And then I realized it was Aaliyah, and then I just threw my A game. And then, you know, I guess Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. And then, it got brought up, and I was like, fuck both of y'all. But it never worked out for them, and we were both like trying to get at her. I like kind of eased up, but then we ran into each other. It's a long story.
So you and Jay was both getting at Aaliyah. Obviously,
everybody was getting at Aaliyah, bro.
Right.
She would you know, she'll go to dinner with a nigga, but she wasn't going to just be smashing. So that was like the big deal, like who could get with Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
We all, but like,
was he bitter?
Obviously. Yeah, he felt the way.
The true reason of Rocafella's breakup.
But everybody knows that shit. Like we were both.
I heard it, but I didn't.
Yeah, but they be trying to act like he was like really fucking with. Nah, he was sending flowers and doing all this shit that nigga. He was courting her, so we were both going hard, and we ended up in the same house 4th of July. So we were, for some reason this day.
Wait a minute, you, Jay, and Aaliyah ended up in the same house.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So it was like one day it might lean toward him and then it would lean toward me. But I was just on fire that week. Like I was just everything I was saying was funny. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I remember coming downstairs, like, you know, it happened. He was like, said, you know, this is gonna be hard for me because his friends were laughing at him and shit.
I don't even know where to start with this, man. As an astute hip hop fan, as somebody who was highly consumed into what Roc-A-Fella had going on, y'all should know that the label really kind of diffused itself within about 3 or 4 years after Aaliyah passed. So it seems after all of this happened, when Dame got with her, you know, they were still around each other as far as Jay and Dame, but it seems that their relationship probably soured. It seemed like their relationship probably went another way ever since that time, right? Because there definitely was a point in which Roc-A-Fella, everybody was doing their own thing, kind of running with their own crews, and they were only really kind of meeting up to kind of talk about the albums, sign off on paperwork, and go about their business. You know what I'm saying? They all had began to get their own autonomy. Jay was starting to get courted by other labels, other executives in the industry. He was spending more time around Leor Cohen, the Kevin Louses, the people that were trying to usher him into other opportunities. Of course, we saw that he did end up taking that president of Def Jam job, which they leveraged with him to get his masters back, which they also leveraged for him to be an independent artist and form Roc Nation. After that, they just wanted him to at least sit in that seat for a couple of years and help them give guidance to the artists on the label, help run the company, help it become more profitable, etc. People that really know hip hop know all of this stuff, but to hear Dame Dash in this clip say everybody knows that was the reason. No, Dame, we did not know. Only people that watch a lot of interviews on YouTube, people that were kind of obsessed like I was with y'all entire movement, would even think about some of this stuff. Casuals, they don't know this stuff. The youth of today that really don't know nothing about what y'all contributed to the game, they just hear y'all names all the time, they don't know nothing about this stuff, bro. But I do want to clear up a few things, okay? Now, in the source where I saw this video, of course, the neighborhood talk, people were in the comments saying, I hate the fact that these grown ass men were trying to groom this young lady, right? No, Aaliyah was dead ass grown when she was hanging out with them. When she was with R. Kelly, she was 15. We all know how wrong that is. We all know that. We should have held him accountable. Everybody should have held him accountable. There should not have been a fucking room, venue, or anything that he walked in without getting his ass punched on and potentially stabbed up or shot. Nobody did that. That's what y'all chose to do. All the old heads, all our elders, y'all accepted that shit. Y'all played that nigga music. Y'all knew what it was when he sung Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Let's not talk about that shit no more because y'all ain't do shit when y'all was the ones in position. As for Aaliyah, she was 21 and 22 during the time she was hanging out with these guys, all right? Back in 2000, that's when she started hanging out with these guys. They were introduced to her through some mutual friends. She was spending a lot of time with Jay-Z first. It's very possible if things went a little bit differently, she could have been wifey. They might have been the ones that stayed together. We might not have seen him move on to Beyonce and build all of the things that they've built in this lifetime. That is a big game of what if. Nobody has time to play it. She seemed to sway back and forth between them. There's a lot of pictures of her and Jay-Z online. There's even one where he's kind of like holding her hand out there. Shit is kind of crazy. But she was playing the field, right? I just had people come on one of my last videos talking about you're single until you're married, right? So don't be out here trying to judge her. She wasn't exclusively with nobody. She was around. They were both shooting their shots. And at the time, whoever was able to hit the shot, they were the winner. It took some time. Dame Dash stood 10 toes down. He knew what he wanted. She fell. Don't make it seem like they were pressuring her. Don't make it seem like she didn't have no choice. Aaliyah could have been with any motherfucker that she wanted to. At that time, she was the hottest chick in the game. She was on top of the game. She was taking charge of her own life, which is why she was around them niggas to begin with. You understand me? So if she wanted to be with a motherfucking executive in a boardroom, she could have done that. If she wanted to be with a younger nigga that was around her age at that time, she could have fucked with Nelly. She could have fucked with Luda. There was a lot of opportunity out there if she wanted to be with somebody in the hip hop industry. She made her choice. Let's get rid of this notion that she was being groomed. Not to mention the fact that Dame Dash clearly said he never even looked at her like that at first. He saw her on the TV screen. She was a tomboy. He wasn't really into all of that. You feel what I'm saying? And he wasn't looking at her like that anyway because she was young. It wasn't until she got into their circle that he started looking at her a certain type of way. Again, she was introduced to Dame by a model. A lot of people have this certain idea on how they may have came into concert with each other. I'm going to tell y'all again, she was introduced to him by a model and it took off from there. At the time that she passed, they were in a very serious relationship. It seemed like he might have wanted to put a ring on it at the time. Wouldn't be surprised. They were trying to keep their relationship as private as they possibly could, but they were just spending so much time together that it just leaked out into the press. It wasn't something they were looking for. Dame Dash never really had the desire to be super public with his relationship. It wasn't until Rachel Roy, I think it was, that he really kind of put her to the forefront. Another model. He gave her everything that he possibly could. He's taken very good care of women that he's been with. So I'm not going to try to hate on him. I'm not a history revisionist or anything like that. There's a lot of people out there that would like to do that. All I'm going to say is I hate the fact that Jay and Dame's relationship began to sour over this, right? They were making history at the time. I think they would have gone on to create even more history. I wish that they were still able to have some sort of friendship or connection. It seems like every time they try to get back in each other's good graces, something else happens. Another lawsuit, another dispute about old music happens. They just can't seem to get on the same page. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Sometimes you tend to outgrow people. You find new groups of people that you want to hang out with. You're not compatible no more. You don't think the same. You don't want to argue. Maybe you don't want to snap and joke on people the same way that you used to. And this person is still on that wave. We know Jay is more in a mature space, more of a corporate hustler. Dame, he still carries street hustler perspective, even though he is very big on ownership as well. There's even some people out here trying to accuse Aaliyah of being a meat hopper. I don't think that that's appropriate either because Dame clearly stated in this interview that she was not messing with nobody seriously. She was getting out there, hanging out, seeing what the world was like. She wasn't laying with nobody. She was keeping herself exclusively to herself until she decided she wanted to be with Dame. So don't make it seem like she was sleeping with Jay, then she went sleeping with Dame. Y'all not gonna besmirch her name like that. That's not how it played out. Because they were kind of in a friendly competition to see who was going GTD. If you watch Martin growing up, you know what GTD is. That's not the most mature thing. I'm gonna be honest about that. I hate to know that that's what they were doing, but that's what it was. It was a friendly competition to GTD because they knew at that point it was over. She was gonna stick with who she was gonna stick with. While I may not think that's the most mature thing, we do have to acknowledge that these types of things happen. It does not just happen with women in their early 20s. It does not just happen with men in their late 20s. It's motherfuckers out here doing that to this day. And it's not something that's like verbally spoken about, right? It's just like two men could easily be interested in the same woman. Matter of fact, there's some women out here that would like to see men compete for them. This really happens. There's women out here that will take dates with two niggas and let them have to play themselves up. They have to talk themselves up. They have to impress her and who she chooses to be with. If anyone at the end of the day is what it is, or who she chooses to go on another date with. We see this on TV. We've seen this in different scenarios. This shit really happens. You may not think so. Speed dating, shit like that really be going down. So I'm not going to criticize Aaliyah in any form or fashion. Dame really loved her. It was very apparent back then. It's still apparent now. I think he has a lady now. I'm not sure if he's married, but he still speaks about her very fondly. I don't feel like he's ever disrespected her. I don't feel like he's ever put no dirt on her name. And I don't want y'all motherfuckers out there to try to do that either. Okay, as y'all know, man, I just love clearing up misinformation. When I see people spewing bad info, it really just goddamn makes my skin crawl. So I have to address it, even if it doesn't seem important. Even though Aaliyah has been gone, she's not with us. She's been gone for about 20 years. She's still relevant to this day. There's still so many people that feel like if she had lived, there would be no Beyonce. I'm not one of those people. I feel like they definitely would have coexisted because they already were within the industry. And I feel like both of them only would have gotten bigger. I think if anything, we might not have gotten Rihanna. Let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If it's your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell for all updates. I will see y'all on the next one, all right? Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.